Good morning. I am honored to be here, and yes, you are the party group. This is the fun group. I love coming to this convention. Who am I? Well, first of all, we've trained a lot of salespeople, but more importantly, I am not the visionary. I am not Peter Zollman. I am not the guy with the crystal ball. I am not Gordon Borrell. If I was the person who could predict the future, I wouldn't have 3 pieces of waterfront property in Florida right now that have absolutely no value. I am the street fighter. We make sales calls. We are the ones that go out and make 5,000 sales calls a year with traditional ad reps. So we will look at the word for the street up, not the top down. It's been a lot of battles between me and this gentleman recently, but there isn't. I love Gordon Borrell. He is the visionary. If you've never heard of Borrell Associates, they issue a lot of reports about the future of advertising. Last week in Jacksonville, Florida, I released some of his local data for Morris Communications to about 750 advertisers in workshop settings. But here has been the battle. And actually, I'll be speaking on this next week at the SNA and Classified Conference in Chicago. I'm one of the keynoters. It's this whole battle of who can sell digital and who can sell traditional. Peter issued the report saying, look, if you can't fire the guy that sells print, when he misses his digital goal, you're in trouble. And everybody went and had separate digital salespeople because there was this big battle of geek versus online, geek versus online, geek versus print, nerds, geeks, what have you, and this is what the world has come to. I don't agree with this anymore. I mean, actually, most of my media companies have come back. They're blending back the digital guys back into the print side after separating them, but I don't think it has anything to do with this. I think it has to do with hunters and farmers. It has to do with the fact that we've got farmers in one type of industry and possibly the hunters in the other side of the industry, and very little to do with the print versus digital. Let me give you an example. This is one of our client newspapers. I love the name of this paper. This is The Vindicator in Youngstown, Ohio. Yes, it's a daily paper, not a classified, but hopefully this will ring true in your world. I want to introduce you to Hitch. I actually spoke about Hitch 8 months ago at the SNA conference in Orlando. He is the digital sales expert. After I did this presentation, the Inland Press, featured him on the cover. By the way, that's not Hitch's picture. That is not the picture of the digital sales manager at the Vindicator. That's Hitch. He is 66 years old. This is not a geek. This is not a nerd. This is a 66-year-old guy that has 8 years of newspaper sales, 11 years of radio sales, 9 years of TV sales, and before that he was banging on doors selling encyclopedias. What happened was, as one of the top print billers, he saw the money moving digital, decided to shift, and asked for the position on the digital side. Unheard of, because he was email challenged. This is not a geek. He doesn't carry around iPads and lots of little devices that vibrate in his pocket. But he's now, thanks to this, out there pitching digital, has become the top biller. And then the unbelievable thing happened. He realizes he was out there getting in the doors pitching the digital product that these people, God forbid, he said sarcastically, might need some print. So he asked permission to sell the print side. Now he's the #1 new biller at the company. He is a hunter, not a geek. He is a hunter, not a geek. So we think that the lines are getting more blurred here. We actually have a new way that we try to do this. We don't like them to be separated as much. We have a job description that you can have access to on the internet right now. I gave you a web address called the Digital Evangelist. This is the person that evangelizes digital out there on the street as well as inside the department. As a matter of fact, we've tested this in many markets. He works 1 week on just digital and 1 week working with the traditional print reps. But let's be honest, we are not communists in this room. To get a traditional print rep to sell online, you ask them to do it, they'll say, sure, it's good for the customer, it's good for the company, it's good. Nah, all they're going to do is sell whatever makes them money. I mean, it all comes down to compensation. Compensation, compensation, compensation. Now, when you put this digital evangelist inside the print department, we got to make sure he's not the enemy, because if they perceive him as the enemy, when I say enemy, competing media salesperson, they will not work with him. You may force them to work together and say, you must make joint sales calls, but if they think this guy's the competition, they will hose him and take him to non-decision makers and gatekeepers. They will keep them away from there, because we all know print legacy salespeople, those are my accounts, don't touch them. So what we have to do now is make sure that his compensation, or hers, is totally based on total sales, not individual sales. Thus, he doesn't care who sells it. You do it, I do it, anybody does it, I'll make it. And we actually have that in that job description, compensation models. Now, everybody's got to have a goal. Goals are metrics, metrics are goals. The managers must have digital goals. The sales reps must have digital goals. And then you must reward and not reward when they hit or not hit the goals. In other words, If you have, this is what Gordon was trying to say, which I agree with in his reports. He was trying to say, if a guy hits his print goal and misses his digital goal, will you do something to him? What if he exceeds his print goal by 10%? You pat him on the back after the meeting? If you do, digital will never be sold. Because digital is small money still compared to print money. As a matter of fact, our best newspapers we're working with, the Street Force, is doing about 10% on the street. Yeah, they're reporting 28%, 25% digital versus print, but when it comes, and some of that, as Peter was alluding to, is Hollywood accounting, where they're moving money around in different columns to get their bonuses. If I got a street salesperson doing 10% of pure sales on the street, no bundling, we feel we have a mature media company. Well, if you're compensating him on total dollars and not having some form of a matrix that allows him to know the pain and pleasure of selling digital, he's just going to sell the print side. And this applies to on the phone, this applies on the street. So let's take a look at some real-world examples and take a look at the opportunity. Now, again, I'm going to go back to my buddy Gordon Borrell. This was a groundbreaking report. Main Street Goes Interactive came out about a year and a half ago. It's North American-based, but he was taking a look at small and medium-sized businesses in North America. The small and medium-sized businesses, do they care about the internet? And the report basically said, when unemployment rose, local online spending rose. Now, this is not building a website, checking your email. This is putting money aside and spending it locally on digital products. Matter of fact, his prediction is it will rise and plateau. Now, the average small and medium-sized business in North America and in the UK, from the research we do, and also in other Western cultures, basically will spend 6% of gross sales in some form of advertising or marketing. 6% of gross sales in some form of advertising. That's letterhead, business cards, signage, or internet. However, now, according to Gordon's report of a year and a half ago, 11.2% of that's going online. He hosted a convention in February in New York City called Main Street Goes Interactive. We had cocktails there, and I was the afternoon speaker. Gordon was the morning speaker, showed this slide to the audience. That's his picture there. He didn't show the picture, but that's the convention. He said, our strongest growth is going to come from small and medium-sized businesses, which is obvious. I'm going to be leaving this convention right after this and spending my day over at the Grand Hotel with my new client from Poland. And I was looking at his slides that he was showing when he was bragging, and it's all about small and medium-sized businesses. In tough economic times, when you lose the big dog, you replace it with lots of little dogs. I knew this in the 80s when I was selling radio, back in that depression. When you lose the big ones, a good account list for a sales rep is like a garden. Big plants, medium plants, small plants, and you're watering and cultivating them. And that's what you try to do. As a matter of fact, I would humbly suggest if you have compensation models for your sales reps, it should be based also on activity, how many accounts they're handling. So they're not always feeling like getting the big guys, but they're also picking up the little guys. Then he said, these small, medium-sized businesses have high hopes the web is going to save them. Now, I meet with 5,000 salespeople, businesses a year. Actually, my team does, and I do as well. And we agree with that. But here's the challenge. I grabbed this slide from Gordon that afternoon. If you were attending this convention in New York City, you saw I said, Gordon, I agree with you. However, these small and medium-sized businesses have no idea what the internet means. They are not geeks. They don't speak geek. I do advertiser workshops all over the world. I just did one in Kingston, Jamaica. I meet with thousands of business owners a year, and here's what they say. What are we going to do in this googly, Facebooky thing? They don't know what a page through is. They don't know what an impression is. They don't want to hear the word click through. And incidentally, when I do sales training, I explain to sales reps, don't speak geek, don't speak media. They don't know what a column centimeter is. They want you to talk their language. They want you to speak their terms to build business-to-business rapport. So we're seeing these small and medium-sized businesses, home improvement, healthcare, legal, personal services, business services. And when we're seeing them, the last battle we're trying to do is battle Google. I love baseball. I live in Florida for a reason. I like spring training. It's an American sport. But I watch the batting practice, and whenever I see a newspaper trying to battle Google, I say that's like taking a swing in the dirt. Google is huge. You can't battle Google. The battle is not between newspapers and Google. The battle's between Yellow Pages. This is the people we battle each day. They're a huge, unbelievable entity in all the markets I go into. As a matter of fact, we affectionately call them the mafia. And the reason we call them the mafia is because they come to town, rape the town once a year, steal money, hold a gun to the advertiser's head, and claim if you don't buy me, you're going to be dead. I've never met an advertiser, if the 1,000 we meet with, that likes Yellow Pages. They just feel like they have to buy it. But we have found that there is a way to counteract that, and that is through the digital side. Now, Google, in my opinion, is like this. You ever heard the expression 300-pound gorilla in the room you can't ignore? 300-pound elephant in the room. And actually, there's 3 gorillas in the room that we battle with all the time. And they have names, and their names, believe it or not, are common to you. They're Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Now, what we try to do is work with them in order to make things happen. We find that Google, Yahoo, and Bing are so actively killing Yellow Pages that I like to say it this way. With their dominance in the markets, I like to say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And it's good that Google, Yahoo, and Bing exist because they're totally destroying, at least the North American markets, Yellow Pages, and eventually all over the world. No one picks up the book anymore. Even Jay Leno said Yellow Pages are for the 3 people who don't have the internet. Now, who's selling this 11.2% digital money in the markets? Well, in North America, if you take a look at what's going on, the average newspaper sales rep is doing it. Well, newspapers in general, according to some studies, are doing about 13% of total ad revenues digitally. I said 10% on the street. Television's doing 4.5, radio's doing 2.5. Local cable in North America is doing very little. Yellow Pages, 20%. 20%. I find it fascinating. 20% for a book nobody's reading. That means 80% of this revenue is going into a book that absolutely, positively nobody is reading. So how do we tack that? I'm going to give you some 3 real-world examples of how we're making money now. Just like Peter said, limited time. So I'm going to spend about 5 minutes with each because I've got half of my presentation left. But all these slides are downloadable. And I also have these presentations available online for you to access actual case studies. And what we're going to try to do now is give you an idea of what we do and how we do this and make money for our individual clients. We develop the sales program, we design the sales materials, we train the management and sales forces, then we ride with the sales reps and help them close the deals. And our message basically is we de-geek the message. We totally, completely take the geeky stuff out. You will never see 3 letters CPM in any of our sales collaterals. Besides, when's the last time a local advertiser saw a Roman numeral? Why is it not CPT? It's CPM, cost per thousand. We build things in a very easy share a voice model, which I'll explain in a moment, and we attack 3 levels of advertisers when we do a deployment. Current advertisers that are buying the local media company we're working with and somebody else. That's a market share grab. The tons of dormant advertisers that are out there that used to buy the media company but stopped because the economy was in bad shape or they lost belief in a print legacy product, and then we attack new business. And just about every deployment I'm going to show you, 1/3 of the advertisers we garnered were existing advertisers where we stole it from Yellow Pages. 1/3 were advertisers that used to have a relationship with the media company but stopped, and 1/3 were brand new business that have never done business in any way, shape, form, or size. The first case study I'm going to show you right now is about basic banner sales. And who are we going to talk about here? We're going to talk about Journal Register Company. Journal Register Company is getting a lot of press lately because their new CEO, John Payton, is the digital-first CEO. Everything's digital-first now. He's leading off at conventions. Called us up 4 months ago and said, help us get revenue on the books and get our sales reps motivated, just to sell the banners. Now, currently, this is an old slide because I got an email this morning from them. We're at $850,000 of new revenue. 1/3 existing, 1/3 dormants, those that used to buy and not, 1/3 new advertisers. And incidentally, if you want to read the entire case study, write this down, blindergroup.com/banners. You can download the sales collaterals I'm going to fly through. Download everything. Even see a video that shows you what's going on there and more. But basically, this stuff we don't do anymore. We do not show these CPM-based rate cards that confuse advertisers. In my humble opinion, CPM sucks. It's nothing wrong with it. Just don't tell it to an advertiser. Have an internal CPM pricing model for how you want to sell your banners, but don't confuse the advertiser. The second challenge is this. When you have a banner of any kind on your website, who are you going to click it to? The advertiser's homepage? Well, unfortunately, we meet with 5,000 businesses a year, and most advertisers tell us they hate their websites. About half of them do. They don't say they hate them, maybe they don't even have them in your culture. What they usually say to us if they have a website is, it's in redevelopment. Now, how can you make a value proposition? Let me link from our site to your site when they don't like their site. Or God forbid you link to their homepage, which is even worse. I mean, because that doesn't do anything. So then they get off on the internet, they don't like it and all that and more. We usually require all of our media companies to allow us to link to some form of a marketing page, a landing page, a jump page. It can be as basic as linking to the print ad online or as advanced as a profile page that optimizes on search engines, which I'll show you in a moment. You can embed video, couponing, and what have you. But I need to link to something because I need the ad rep to say to the advertiser, don't worry about your site. I got a pure marketing solution. And secondly, take this to the bank. When you're training a rep to sell multimedia sales, the definition of multimedia is not an ad, a line ad, or a display ad in the newspaper, and a link on a website. That is totally, completely diametrically opposed. Multimedia selling is one message, two medias simultaneously. That's what this is. This is putting an ad on steroids. I'm going to increase the reach and increase the frequency, Mr. Advertiser. More eyeballs, more often. Simple to explain, easy to take to market. Now here's Journal Register, Multimedia Results, whatever, 2011. We always train the reps to sell audience, not technology. So they always define the audience first. In this case, affluent, educated, growing, and employed. Incidentally, every piece of research I have read, from the Hindu Times I work with in India, to the Jamaica Observer I was at last month, to the Honduras El Clasificado, doesn't matter, wherever I'm working with, it's affluent, educated. The web always cuts through to those with money and education. That's why local online spending rose in tough economic times, because people wanted to put their money in front of somebody who might be more apt to whip out a credit card or take out some money. Affluent, educated. Now, incidentally, I think you most probably know this, maybe you don't, but 72% of most media companies' audience is at work. It's white-collar crime. We have a very, very big day coming up this month in North America. It's called Black Friday, the #1 retail shopping day of the year after the Thanksgiving holiday. Everybody's out of work, they go shopping, but the number one digital shopping day of the year is Cyber Monday, the Monday after the holiday, where everybody goes back to work to do their Christmas shopping on the boss's computer. I would analyze your websites, because I'm willing to bet most of your audience, in this case of the Journal Register properties, most if not half or more were at work. Incredible. Mr. Advertiser, they've got a job. They're working. Affluent, educated, employed, growing, and working. That's what we talk about. If we got some spending power data, especially classified driven, we will. Now, here's the way we talk to the advertiser. Mr. Advertiser, local online spending is rising. Are you there? Because if you're not there, your competitor may be. Then we will talk about newspapers and internet being the #1 and 2 ways that people are seeking this information. We never trash print. We build it up. And then we'll try to show some way of talking about the extended reach of the audience. I'm flying through these slides, but they're all downloadable on the internet for your access. And there it is, share a voice. Mr. Advertiser, you and a select number of others will share this position on our website. That simple. You and a select number of others. That gives me limited availability for the close. You talk about frequency. Your ad will be seen no less than 50,000 times a month. We will link this to your website if you like it, if not to an ad site, jump page, interstitial, marketing page, business. I don't care. Give me something to link to besides their website. And then we deal with it in that respect, limited availability. Now, how do you apply local search to all this? If I may, I thought I would talk about El Clasificado. We were brought in there, and I was honored to work with you about 4 or 5 months ago. We came in there and helped them launch something that rocks, we call Paco's List. This was it's genius, because Craigslist had not gone Hispanic yet. Let's seize the territory. Now, let's go into Google and look for a dentist in Orange County. However, that's dentist in Spanish. And up comes a list of the organic results on Google. Remember, Google is the 600-pound gorilla in the room. Got to talk Google to an advertiser. If you do not mention Google to an advertiser, you're an idiot. I mean, 68% of every market's using Google. The rest are doing Yahoo and Bing. This is important. Now, in that organic search, this is what we make sure an advertiser understands. 6 out of 10 people stop on the first page of results. 9 out of 10 people stop on the third page of results. Luckily, we can now claim that this profile page, this business page, is showing up high on Google on behalf of the advertiser. This is not the advertiser's website. This is a profile page the newspaper launches for the advertiser. You heard an expression from Peter. You heard it earlier. I'll say it again. SEO, search engine optimization. Now, this is, I believe, Matchbin driven. That's your vendor. But we have launched it for Ellington out of Lawrence, Kansas. We have launched it for Planet Discover by Gannett. We've launched Local.com and every other homegrown or national directory product. Take this to the bank. When you launch a directory product, you're selling search engine optimization. You are helping advertisers be found on search engines. Local search without optimization is an oxymoron. I hope that makes sense. So you're helping them be found by rankings, but more importantly by something we call popularity. And popularity means you're leveraging the popularity of the local newspaper's website. That website has a lot of links coming to it, and if I can embed content in the website of the newspaper for the advertiser, there's a good chance leveraging that popularity it will rise. Now, of course, we give them local search on Paco's list, where again, they will be found. If I search by business category or keyword, up comes the directory of all local businesses. Why not? Everybody's doing it in North America now, whether it's pure play or associated with a media company website. Value proposition to the advertiser, we will enhance your status over your competitors. And that links again into that profile page that we host for the advertiser. Putting it all together and showing you how we take it to market is pretty simple. Again, this is in English. I believe you translated these to Spanish when you took it in front of the advertisers. And I think did we make assisted calls with you? Did someone come? Yes, we did. We actually went out on the sales calls with you. All right, again, but we put this slide in there. Mr. Advertiser, local online spending's rising. People are spending money in tough economic times. They're just thinking twice about who to spend it with. It's either you or your competitor. Kind of scares them a little. Then we talk about the audience. Affluent, educated, growing, and employed. Usually never changes. We never trash print. We talk about the value of both together. Now, in this case, I made sure, and whenever I do a local search launch, I make sure we blend banner inventory in it. Why? I call this externalizing the message. I don't like just to have to force the audience to go into the directory to find the business. If we've got audience running around inside of a traditional website, whether it's classified-driven, editorial-driven, I'll run banners on it and link into the directory as well. That can be done a number of different ways. Take banner inventory, build a widget that pulls maybe the logo of the business up out of the database, whatever it takes, externalize it. In this case, because I like that frequency too, Mr. Advertiser, your ad will be seen 40,000 times a month all year on all pages of El Clasificado. And that ad will link either to your website or to your business profile page. By the way, that business profile page is embedded in Paco's list. Paco's list is our new quintessential directory of all local businesses. You'll appear above your competitor. And all these profile pages can have bells and whistles. We can add couponing. We can add video. We can add whatever we want to it. Keep in mind that if you have self-service, where you let the advertiser go in and change their own content, I have yet to see anywhere on this planet where they will take the time to change the content on their own. I'm not sure if you're getting, you're going, got to do it yourself for now. I always say for now. I'm hoping the day will come where I can get an advertiser to go in there and change their own content. So you'll have to manage these for the advertiser. Then you talk about the bells and whistles. In this case, I believe we were offering video on there, a coupon as well, photo gallery, website links, all that and more. And the final cherry on the ice cream is the optimization. Mr. Advertiser, we're leveraging our popularity to also help you on search engines. The elephant is in the room, Google. If you're doing local search without mentioning this, it's an oxymoron. That is local search. You can't replace Google. So what you do is you say, we'll help you there. And we make sure the sales reps are trained to manage expectations. Nobody can promise optimization. Not me, not the Yellow Page guys, nobody. But I got a good shot because I'm dominant, I've got popularity, and I can help you be found on these search engines. Then we price it on a limited basis, again, using share of voice, 30 advertisers only for $99 a week. May I show the numbers? Yes, no? Advertiser acceptance? We were out there for 1 week, and I know you've continued to sell it since we were gone, but this was just the week we were taking it to market. We had 27 calls that week with the staff of El Clasificado. 22 were in front of people who can say yes. That's a qualified decision maker. And look at that, about a 50% closing ratio for $61,000 on the first call. I mean, others closed afterwards, but that's amazing advertiser acceptance. And that's what a 54% closing ratio with a $5,000 average contract for $61,000. Again, that complete story is under search on our website. I'm sorry, but I think I am running short on time, so I'm going to show you one thing briefly and not go as much in depth into it as I'd like to, but that incorporates what we like to call couponing. And couponing is just so important right now in today's society. And briefly, we did a play with these people down in Florida called Sun Media. As a matter of fact, Peter, if I may say, the first speech I ever saw Peter Zollman ever give, they complimented this newspaper group as the most digital group in the world, Port Charlotte, Florida. I remember you talking about them. Well, they have a coupon platform called Deals and Steals. This is a vertical similar to a directory of businesses, but it's now only about value. And you link into it, and you can find all these different coupons, deals, offers, and specials. Now, what we've learned in the many couponing promotion deployments we have done is you need critical mass of content before you go forward with this. So these are always seeded with national coupons, national deals, segments from flyers, and then we insert the local business in there around all this critical mass of content. And of course, there's different bells and whistles on this one. There's maps where you can find the different coupons. We allow the coupon to be SMS'd or texted to people's mobile devices. We even have a mobile app associated with it. But here's the trick. We're leading with all this technical digital technology about how the coupon will be digital, because that's what the advertisers want to hear about, but then we blend in a forced print campaign. We're actually just like Hitch, what I mentioned 25 minutes ago, that digital sales rep, we realize if we lead with digital, we can sell more print. So what we bundled with this program was a print full-page coupon deal, and then to, again, run those banners online, we put a banner campaign on where we rotated 4 different of the coupons to what I like to say externalize them in front of the audience and rotate them evenly that links back into the coupon. Now, I'll show you briefly the sales collaterals. You can download them if you want. Deals and steals. There's that slide again. Mr. Advertiser, local online spending is rising, even in tough economic times. I know this is getting boring. Affluent, educated, growing, and employed. I mean, it's just the same story everywhere I go. Then we most probably insert a little data about how coupons are important. Print and online work very well together. And then we tell the story. Mr. Advertiser, print and online combined, with deals and steals in the newspaper. We will place your coupon on our new exciting website with maps and ways to find the coupon. We can send that coupon to cell phones, download it, send it to a friend, all that and more. Mr. Advertiser, not only that, we've got that coupon appearing on mobile devices as well, these smartphones, and the whole program, print and online combined. This was limited for certain advertisers in certain towns for $65 a week. The result of this one was $370,000 of new revenue, half print, half online, but we led with digital to sell the print. And I invite you again to please, if you wish, go and find those case studies and download these at your leisure. There they are. BlenderGroup.com search, BlenderGroup.com banners, BlenderGroup.com coupons, and the slides are available at BlenderGroup.com/getinfo.